The worst thing about an injury is the idea that you'll never recover all the way and you'll never be back to that stage that you were prior to the injury. So last year in like September, I think it was, had a pretty bad low back injury. I think I herniated a disc. I've had several flare-ups since then. For the most part, I'm better. But I did have a flare-up earlier this week, maybe at the end of last week, I don't know. I've been taking it easy all week, though, trying to recover from that. And I can't help but think, what if I never get back to where I was before that? I did press 135 cold like that there. I was pretty happy with that. But anyways, there's this idea that I'll never get back to squatting the weights that I was. That idea does kind of like bother me a little bit because I like training hard. I look back at some of my older workouts. Man, I hit one last year. I took 315 for two sets of three, then a single. Then I stepped down to 295 and pumped out like 3 or 4 sets of 5. Would I have that in the tank right now? Maybe. Definitely not with like the lower back flared up, which it is better, but it's something that I have to think about when I unrack 315. I'm like, if this goes south, I'm going to pay for it really bad. But at the end of the day, I think I'm still going to come in here and put my best foot forwards. That's all you can do, really. If I'd never squatted 315 again, would I still come in here and train every day? Probably. I think I would. I decided to front squat tonight just because the tibialis, the front part of my shins, is still really fatigued and sore. So also threw on the squat shoes. I didn't feel like fighting the dorsiflexion today. Ended up working up to a 275 paused. My best front squat's 295, so I'm pretty happy with that. The form, I feel like I'm fighting my form on this, but I really do need to front squat more. Look how like flat my traps look. Just everything from like the mid back up between my shoulder blades looks like it's really lacking in size, which is odd because, when I have my arms rested like by my sides, I feel like my traps are pretty good sized. But I feel like nothing also really hits the upper back like front squats do. And if you think I'm wrong with that, take like 50% for as many reps as you can on front squat. I can promise you that it'll light your upper back up. So probably need to do more front squats as well if I want to put a little bit more size on my upper back. I don't know. Hamstrings are still, feeling a little tight. The hip internal rotation on the left side is still severely limited. I tested that before I came out here. I don't know. It's pretty well all I got for today. I was planning on working tomorrow, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen now, so I guess I'm going to get up about 4 o'clock in the morning and go turkey hunting. But yeah, that's all I got. I wish I could have trained a little harder today. Coming in here and just working up to a heavy single doesn't really feel like enough. But I'm about to go pick my mom up from work, and then I'd like to come home and put down a pretty good journal session. And obviously, recovery is important, so I don't need to stay up till 12 o'clock tonight working out and then getting up at 4 in the morning and running all day tomorrow, chasing a bird. But that's all I got for today. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.